On a Thursday in October, Roy Dolan bent down for a box of oak stair treads, his back folded like a closing knife. He hit the concrete floor of a half-remodeled kitchen. For a full minute, he could not feel his left leg. He was 51 years old. The mortgage was due in 9 days. His savings held $1,860. 14 months later, he cleared $4,700 in a single month, sitting down on a padded stool. He did it with 3 rules a stranger gave him at a flea market, rules nobody had ever bothered to teach him. If you have paid for a house with your knees in your back, you already know what that concrete felt like. Roy Dolan laid hardwood floors around Lima, Ohio for 28 years. He was 51, with hands like rope. His pickup was a 2009, paid off 6 years, 240,000 miles, and it smelled of sawdust. His knee pads were older than his marriage. His knees clicked on stairs. His fingers stayed half-curled on Sundays. People in Allen County never asked for his license. They asked for his calendar. That was his whole credential. He had floored churches, banks, and the school his daughter graduated from. He could point at the town and say, "I did that." In 28 years, he missed 4 days of work, 2 for a funeral, 1 for a flood, 1 when a hospital insisted. He believed the deal was simple. Show up, do good work, your body holds out until the house is paid off. His wife Darlene kept the books at the kitchen table. Every paid invoice went into a green folder she called Someday. Someday meant the paid-off house and mornings with nowhere to be. They were 11 years from the last payment. He installed the dance floor for his daughter's wedding himself, free, some things you don't charge for. Overtime was his love language. 50-hour weeks for 2 decades. The house was supposed to be the thank you. People said it at church, at diners, at the feed store. Roy don't leave till it's right. That was his identity. Then his body quit first. No warning letter, just a white bolt of pain that dropped him like a cut tree. The doctor in Toledo studied the scan like a mechanic studies a cracked frame. 2 discs worn like old brake pads. Physical therapy can help, the doctor said, but kneeling on floors is over. The question is, what else your hands can do. Roy sat in the truck 40 minutes before starting the engine. He was a floor man. He did not have an else. He drove home the long way, past 3 houses he had floored. Every one of them felt like a door closing. Darlene was at the table with the green folder. He told her standing up. Sitting down felt like surrender. She did not cry. She pulled out a chair and said, "Then we find out what else your hands can do?" That sentence carried him for months. He repeated it in waiting rooms and truck lines at 3 in the morning. The first month was physio and paperwork. No disability. He had been his own employer. The system had no folder for him. His one helper, a kid named Marcus, took the book jobs and left. "I'm sorry, Roy, I got rent." Roy shook his hand. On the 12th day, he strapped on the knee pads and drove to a job. He lasted 11 minutes on his knees. He came home white-faced and lay flat on the living room floor till dark. Darlene put the folder away without a word. He caught himself pricing groceries and hours of work. Milk was 4 minutes. Meat was 20. He never thought like that when the checks came. Darlene cut cable, then the landline, then her own birthday dinner. She called it trimming. He called it what it was. At night, he watched the ceiling and did math. Math is what fear does when it runs out of tears. But the part that broke him came 3 weeks later. It was not the pain. It was the mailbox. The mortgage letter had a date. The power letter had a different date. Darlene paid bills by which envelope was reddest. He started answering the phone with a lie. Booked out till spring. Pride is the last bill a man stops paying. He applied for a desk job at the lumberyard. The manager was 29 and called him sir in the wrong way. "We'd love your knowledge," the kid said, "but the system needs someone more digital." Roy nodded like it was fine. He tried selling estimates without a crew. 2 builders nodded politely and never called. A quote without hands is a guess. He tried a warehouse greeter job, 4 hours on concrete, and he limped to the truck like an old dog. The manager there was kind. "Maybe something seated," he said, not knowing he had just handed Roy the rest of his life. A cousin offered lot attendant work. He lasted 3 days. Pride is heavy to carry around a car lot. By January, the savings were gone. The pickup sold for $3,100. That bought 9 more weeks. Picture this. A man who carried oak treads up 2 flights of stairs counting coupons in a pharmacy line for his wife's medication. The breaking point came on a gray afternoon. He found Darlene's coat still on at 4. She had taken a cleaning job. Medical offices, nights. She was ashamed to tell him. 28 years, he said, and my wife has to clean offices. Roy, we do what we do, she said. That's the home marriage. He could not sleep that night or the next. He decided to sell the tools. Miter saw, sanders, nail guns. 28 years of a trade, priced on a folding table. Saturday, 6 in the morning, Lima flea market. He set out his life's work between a quilt lady and a man with a wheel. The man 2 tables down was 78, sitting on a stool, cranking a grinding wheel. He was sharpening knives, cash only. People lined up, not browsed, lined up, holding kitchen knives and dish towels like offerings, $8 a knife. Roy watched for 3 hours. In 3 hours, that old man took in more than Roy's tools were priced to sell for. Then the old man looked over. You're watching my wheel like it owes you money. That is how Roy met Virgil. During a lull, Virgil rolled the stool closer. Floor man, he said. It was not a question. I can tell by how you don't bend. Was a floor man, Roy said, back's done, selling the tools. Virgil studied the table. Those tools know things. You're selling the wrong thing, friend. Roy frowned. What am I supposed to sell? Virgil held up a kitchen knife. The part of the trade that fits in a chair, Virgil said. Every trade has one. Carpentry's is the edge. Every tool on your table wants an edge. Every kitchen in this county has 5 dull knives. Nobody teaches people to sharpen anymore. Roy laughed. One short bark. $8 a knife? Virgil shrugged. $8, 6 minutes. That's 80 an hour. Your back ever make 80 an hour? Roy went quiet. Even his best week on floors had never touched that. Roy picked up a finished knife. The edge caught the light like water. You did that in 6 minutes? No, Virgil said. 40 years and 6 minutes. What the old man said next was not complicated. It was 3 rules. Nobody in 51 years had taught Roy any of them. Rule 1, Virgil said. Sit where the money already walks. I don't chase customers. I pay $40 for this table. The whole county walks past it. You don't hunt work, son. You sit where the work is already going. Rule 2. Charge for the sharp, not the minutes. Nobody cares how long it takes. They care that the knife works. Price the result, not your pain. People aren't buying your time. They're buying a tomato that cuts clean. Rule 3. He pulled out a little card. Every customer gets a next date. Knives go dull in 90 days. The card said, sharpened on this date. Dull again around, and then a handwritten day, 90 days out. Half of them come back. That's the whole college, Virgil said. 3 rules. The tuition was 40 years of my life. You're getting it for listening. Before Roy left, Virgil tossed him a stone. Practice on your own knives tonight. If you cut yourself, you're doing it wrong. Here's the part most men never see. The trade was never in Roy's knees. It was in what people trusted his hands to do. He drove home and told Darlene, I'm going into the knife business. She looked at him a long moment. From floors to knives, she said. From my knees to a chair, he said. She nodded. Then we need a stool. He bought a used bench grinder for $340. A stool with a back on it for $60. Every dollar they had. He practiced nights on their own kitchen drawer until Darlene's tomatoes sliced like paper. She said it was the best investment they ever made. The rules worked eventually, but what they cost him first was the part nobody warns you about, his pride. For a Saturday, same flea market, 2 tables from Virgil. He sharpened 7 knives and a pair of garden shears. $61. A man from his old crew walked past and did a double take. Roy, you're sharpening knives? The heat climbed his neck. 80 an hour, Roy said. The man laughed and moved on. Roy sat on his stool and felt very small. That night he told Darlene maybe it was stupid. She counted the $61 twice. More than we made yesterday, she said. Second Saturday, 9 knives. Third, rain, 4 knives, and a long cold sit. The chair teaches patience whether you want it or not. Week 4, a man brought him his grandfather's pocket knife. Roy held it like a bird. He finally understood what people were really handing him. Virgil never gave compliments. He gave corrections. Your angle's drifting. A dull knife from you cost you 2 customers, not 1. By the 6th week, something changed, and it was not the money. It was the faces. People arrived before his table was set. The 90-day cards were coming home. A woman held hers up like a coupon. You said Thursday, she said. I'm early. One morning, Virgil watched his line and said, You're ready for the second lesson, restaurants. Roy put down a stone. A restaurant has 40 knives and 0 time, Virgil said. They will pay you to come to them. That's rule 1 in reverse, the old man said. Sometimes you don't sit where money walks. You walk to where it sits. Roy typed a 1-page offer on the library computer. Every knife in your kitchen, sharpened every 90 days, 1 flat rate. The first restaurant said no. The second said no. The third, a steakhouse on the east side, said, How soon can you come? $210 for 1 afternoon. He sharpened 34 knives and walked out with his back straighter than in months. But here was the deeper layer. A floor man knows restaurants. He had floored half their dining rooms. The owners already trusted his name. His past was not wasted. Every floor he had ever laid was a business card nobody could take away. By month 5, he had 4 restaurant accounts plus Saturdays. By month 7, 8 restaurants. He raised the table price to $10. Nobody blanked. Virgil just nodded. Told you, they never were buying minutes. Spring brought mower blades and garden tools. He lettered a sign, If it cuts, I sharpen it. That sign doubled the line. A hardware store offered him a corner, rent-free, just for the foot traffic. He sat there Tuesdays. Rule 1 kept proving itself. He raised restaurant rates in month 9 and lost exactly 0 accounts. Sharp is not a luxury, Virgil said. It's a line item. Darlene quit the cleaning job in month 10. She handed in her vest and walked out like a pardoned woman. Roy cried in the truck after. The green folder came back out of the drawer. Someday was 11 years out again, then 9. Money compounded slowly, then all at once. $61 became $140. $140 became $300 a Saturday. Restaurants called him now. He stopped chasing entirely. He was, at last, sitting exactly where the money walked. Then Virgil said something that had nothing to do with knives. August, packing up in the heat. You're past me now. So here the last thing. The chair is not the downgrade, Roy. The chair is the office. You stopped being the laborer. You became the expert. That is not a step down. That is the whole ladder. Month 12, he paid the mortgage 3 days early. Darlene stood at the mailbox holding the receipt like a photograph. Month 14, the steakhouse owner brought 2 friends from a restaurant group. Roy left with 6 more accounts and a waiting list. That month he cleared $4,720. His best year on floors, never touched it. And his back never left the chair. That is the sentence Roy says now when men ask him how. He ran into Marcus at the gas station that fall. Heard you're the knife guy, Marcus said, almost shy. I'm the edge guy, Roy said. They both laughed. Then Marcus asked if he needs help on Saturdays. He did. He paid the kid $20 an hour to run the second grinder. Teaching Marcus the angle felt better than any floor he ever laid. If you have started over after your body or your job quit on you, say the age you were. Somebody you're reading needs that number. Here is what Roy learned on that stool in his 52nd year. Your body is the tool. It is not the trade. Tools wear out. Every tradesman knows that about everything except himself. The trade is the trust people put in your hands. Trust does not live in your knees. It lives in your judgment, and judgment is the one muscle age makes stronger. Every skill has a sitting down piece, the part that lives in knowing, not lifting. Find the smallest honest piece of what you know. Then charge for the result, not the pain. On floors, people were never buying oak. They were buying a floor done right. A sharp knife is the same transaction. 6 minutes at a time, $8 at a time. Trust, compounding in small cuts. Security is a skill so specific that people line up for it. It fits in a chair, it survives the body that learned it. The shame Roy felt that first Saturday was real. But shame is a down payment. It buys the day the line forms before you set up. He thinks about the warehouse manager sometimes. Something seeded, the man meant it as a rejection. It arrived as a prophecy. Roy's back still aches when it rains. Some losses you keep. You just stop letting them drive. The part Roy tells people now is not about money. It is about the morning he noticed he no longer dreaded waking up. That morning he realized was the real 4,700. The rest was just counting. So here's the challenge, and it is time-bound. Tonight, take one sheet of paper. 1. Write down the part of your work people actually thank you for. Not the title, not the muscle, the thank you. That thank you is your sitting down piece. It is still in there, even if the body that carried it is done. Then, for the next 7 days, ask one person a day if they would pay for just that part, just the edge. You do not need a new body. You need the edge of the trade you already spent your whole life learning. Roy's stool still sits at the flea market every Saturday, 2 tables from where Virgil's used to. The old knee pads hang in the garage above the stool now, a reminder. The trade moved, the man stayed. A man is not finished when his body says so. He is finished when he stops looking for the part of his trade that fits the life he has now. Next, the story of a woman who lost her pension at 59 and rebuilt it with 2 envelopes. If you are rebuilding after 50, subscribe and walk the rest of it with us.